Welcome to Deadlifts and Diapers. I'm your host, I'm Madison. I am an online fitness and nutrition coach. I live in northern BC, Canada. I live in a very, very small town, and I created this podcast because I wanted to just bring light to women and moms specifically that their postpartum bodies can be just as strong or stronger than their pre-kids bodies. And so in this podcast and on YouTube, because I am filming this as well, so if you're here for YouTube, thank you. If you're here for the podcast, thank you as well. A few things that you can expect from me is we're just going to be like off the cuff. I am very direct. I will probably throw some F-bombs and some swear words around. It's just meant to be lighthearted, bring out information, Q&As, real client stories about overcoming and just mindset shifts that are happening, mindset shifts that can happen for you. If there are gaps that are happening along your fitness journey or you're not sure to where to start on your fitness journey, we're just going to be covering all things health and fitness that relate to women and mindset, and just, have a friendly conversation week to week. So I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, I did write notes because I just don't know what I'm going to talk about for 5 to 10 minutes in an episode. So if you see me looking down, that's why. Until I have some reps underneath me to be able to go just off the cuff for 5-10 minutes. That's what you're going to expect. So, And so I named this podcast Diapers and Deadlifts specifically just for the fact of I'm a mom of 3. I have 3 young kids, ages 6, 5, and 2.5. So I know what it's like to be pregnant, have postpartum, not feel like yourself, not feel athletic, not feel yourself whatsoever. And to now be on the other side of the journey of postpartum and experiencing just having my body feel the strongest it's ever been. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my entire adult life. And there were a lot of mindset shifts that had to happen for me specifically, which I'm going to talk about in episode 2, just more in depth about my story. But I just wanted to give you guys like a brief overview of what you're going to expect here with this first podcast. And so, that's kind of where we begin. I really have a true passion again for health and fitness. I have been a coach on and off for probably about the last 10 or 12 years. And so we'll dive a little bit more into that in the next episode. And so, we're going to go over just a bunch of different things related to women's health specifically. And I just wanted this to be a place where you can see just an average woman, an average mom who is just trying to figure it out and figure out the gaps in her own fitness journey and give the tips and tricks that I've learned, that I continue to learn and learn through my clients and their stories in hopes that it helps someone else out there. Because I know for moms, it can be really challenging just to figure out like time constraints and figuring out your nutrition with littles and everything like that. So I know what that's like. And so that's what I'm going to bring here to this podcast. Every single week, I'm hoping to do at least 1 episode a week. We'll see what we can do just with timing and everything like that. So appreciate you guys being here and finding this podcast. If you want to comment down below in whatever format you're watching this or listening to, how you found me, any topics that you want me to cover, any questions that you might have, I would love to do Q&As down the line. It is very helpful for me to know what my audience is going to want to hear about. So any topics, questions, anything like that, send them my way. I would love to hear that. Obviously share this as well with your friends and family if you haven't already. I do have an Instagram account and a TikTok account. They are under my business name, which is Summit Strength Madison. I will link everything in the show notes below so you guys have access to that as well. So if you can follow me over there, that would be awesome too. So we'll see a little bit more about me and my personality and my lifestyle over there. I post a lot of Instagram stories and everything too. So you'll see a lot more of my day-to-day over on Instagram and just a lot of like tips and tricks for TikTok. So that's what you can expect from me. And so, yeah, I appreciate you guys listening in. We are about 5 minutes in. I don't know how much more I can talk. And so this is me just being really real. I just wanted to have this space where women could feel comfortable coming to and relate to someone who is just average. I am nothing special, nothing fancy. Like I said before, I live in a really tiny town. I don't have anything fancy here. We live in a small, like, fishing, camping, rural town, middle of nowhere, 2 grocery stores, 1 traffic light. And so I just want to make it so that, like, the average person who might not live in a big fancy city with like big fancy gyms and fancy equipment and all of these things, that you can get stronger too. You can get stronger, you can have the body of your dreams and do that with minimal equipment and minimal resources. You don't have to have all of these fancy things. You don't have to spend a ton of money. I'm going to be sharing a lot on that as well, about just different hacks to make things easier for you along your fitness journey, and the certain things that I think are worth spending the money on when you are on your fitness journey. And so, yeah, episode 2, I am going to do a deep dive into who I am and my story, my transformation over the last 18 months, which is when I really took control of my health and fitness and relit that fire back in me for my desire for the health and wellness space, because I felt for a really long time that I didn't love it. I didn't love working out. I fell out of love with it just because of having kids and having a busy life. So we're going to deep dive into that into episode 2. So stay tuned. I will be getting to you guys next week with that. So thank you again for finding my podcast, finding this episode, and I am so glad that you are here. So make sure to hit that follow button. Now, go lift some heavy things.